Today, I want to talk about why I think money is emotional and why people don't really talk about it in this way. So, what I mean by this thumbnail, that it's never logical, is that a lot of people like to portray money as it's some sort of logic problem. Money is not a logic problem, it's an emotion problem because everyone does something different with their money. There's a lot of rich people, there's a lot of poor people, and they have a lot of differing opinions on how money should be used. More people can agree that a Big Mac tastes good than somewhere is a specific place to put, like, then the stock market is a good investment for your money. That is not a glaring issue, but it is something to consider, especially when you're looking and thinking about money in general. Money doesn't seem very rational or logical as people like to portray it. It seems very different than that, especially in the context most people use it. A lot of people like to think of accounting as logical, and accounting is the most logical part of money. I 100% agree. But investment and business are a lot more subjective. I'm going to get into why that is today. So number one, money in almost every culture is a taboo topic. There's not a lot of discussion around money in a household because oftentimes it is a source of stress. So a lot of people don't really like to talk about money because most people fear what they don't understand. And a lot of people, including myself, including others, are very insecure about their base of knowledge when it comes to money. So whenever someone brings up the topic, a lot of people tend to shy away from it, which is okay, but then this creates some sort of communication barrier. So now, instead of having a healthy, good conversation about this, it no longer becomes that. It kind of devolves into a shouting match, or it devolves into something that is not considered very healthy or productive even. A lot of people have very differing opinions on money, which is okay. People can have differing opinions on a lot of things, and they can have a productive conversation. But if it's a source of stress for most people, then it's a bit of a different conversation that you're going to be having whenever that topic is going to be brought up. So next, it's presented as in a very matter-of-fact setting. What I mean by that is that money isn't presented in a way that is nuanced, like sexual preference or something like that. It's not presented in that way, and it should be, because a lot of people have a lot of very different opinions about money and what people should do with their money, especially your family. And it's not presented like that in school or in a household. It's always talked about as, this is money, this is what it is, and this is what you can do with it. It's not like that. What money really is a resource, an opportunity to be able to obtain the material possessions or lifestyle that you want. That's what money is. That's what it should be treated as. However you get it matters, and however you spend it also matters, but it's all very subjective. Lastly, money is extremely tied to our identity. People who have a lot of money typically have that as part of their identity. People who have no money, we attribute to their identity. A homeless person, if they are homeless, that's all they are. We kind of dehumanize or humanize other people because of these facts, because of these ideals that we have of money. And is it wrong? Yes, but it's inevitable. It happens to everybody. It happens to the best of us. It happens to the worst of us. We like to attribute a lot of money to our identity, especially with how we got it. We don't like to think of it as luck. We don't like to think of it as anything else. So whenever you try to talk about this topic, there's a lot of hesitation from the people around you. That is not by coincidence. There's a reason for that. Now, this is my solution on how to be more open about this subject and how to actually learn productive things when it comes to money. Number one, be open to other perspectives. I am guilty of this. I used to look at other types of investments that I didn't think were good because of the perspectives and the ideas that were instilled into me when I was younger as inferior. For example, I would think of crypto as inferior. A lot of people who I'm talking to right now, whenever they hear that word, they also recoil in disgust. For good reason. There is a lot of reasons Bitcoin is perceived the way it is. And it's not necessarily anyone's fault in particular, it's just the way the industry is run. And there's a lot of unhealthy things that are happening in that industry. But there are also a lot of millionaires who were made by this industry and people who swear by it. Two millionaires, one in real estate, one in crypto, can have the same amount of wealth, but can completely disagree about everything when it comes to money. But the other person thinks that the other one is stupid every single time because we like to attribute too much of money to our identity. It's not the way it should be. It's not how it should be attributed. There's plenty of ways to make money. Every single rich person got rich in a different way. Why are we pretending like that's not the case? So be open to those things. Don't get scammed. Don't try every investment, but just be more open, be more receptive. Don't just dismiss it right away because you heard one guy say, oh, this isn't a good investment. This is a scam. Don't do that, okay? There's a lot more out there than people think. You have to be open to those ideas, though. Next, talk about it more freely. Don't talk about how much you earn. Don't tell people how much money you make. Don't tell people how much money you invest, how much you have, but talk more about the subject. You don't need to divulge personal details about it, but you should be able to talk about it in a healthy way and have an open dialogue about money without having to stress that someone's going to steal it from you or that you're going to disagree and get into like an argument about like politics or something. It shouldn't evolve into that. You shouldn't be scared of these conversations. These should be conversations you're okay with having. You don't need to be excited about it, but you do need to be okay with it. Next, understand that it is more gray than you think. Money is not a matter of fact subject. Money is subjective. Understand that and you'll be already so much farther ahead to other people than you realize. A lot of people think money is what money is. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Money is a lot of things. Money is a complicated subject, a very nuanced opinion, and a very, very tenuous resource. As long as you understand that this is a gray area and that you don't know everything, you'll never know everything, but you are kind of open and receptive to certain ideas, especially concerning money, you'll already be more educated and more learned than anyone else around you who has a set point of view on money. It's okay to think that money is nuanced because it absolutely is. Be more open to those conversations. Try to learn as much as you can. Filter out good and bad opinions, but don't be too opinionated either. If you're too opinionated, you close yourself off to any new opportunities. That's not what you're supposed to do, especially when you're young. Learn as much as you can, understand as much as you can, and invest in what you believe in. A lot of people consider something to be the best investment. No such thing. Whatever you invest in, you believe in. That's all it is. As long as you believe in something, it's a good investment to you, and that's all that matters. Let that sink in your head. Let it be understood. Money is nuanced. Investments are subjective, and no one is right about everything. That's pretty much it. You like what you saw, subscribe. Thanks.